Hi folks, Spidey's back with another movie review tonight. I've been gone for a few days. We've had Clubber the Clown. Oh, Clubber, he's just an idiot clown. You know, he came in and just introduced himself a couple nights ago. Then we had the whiner Pennywise last night complaining and whining about his miserable life. But I decided to come back again tonight and reviews. You know, lately I've been having a lot of requests for doing the old, reviewing the old Universal horror movies. You know, from the 30s, 40s, 50s, stuff like that. So we are going to do one tonight, you know. And I think you're all going to be, you know, my favorite series. I like the Frankensteins and Mummies, you know, Dr. Jekyll and, you know, Mr. Hyde and stuff like that. But I kind of like, ooh, listen to that rain. I actually added a little bit of rain to kind of create a little bit more atmospheric element to my review tonight. But I always kind of was always kind of partial to the Wolfman starring Lon Chaney Jr. In the 60s and 70s, as a young kid growing up, I basically used to watch all the Universal movies. There were reruns on Saturday afternoon and stuff like that. And, you know, I just got sucked right into these movies. You know, what I like about the Universal old movies is that they didn't have to rely so much on, you know, special effects and stuff like that. There are special effects in there, but they are dated, you know. They basically are more transformations, you know, instead of, you know, actual practical effects and stuff like that. Well, they did have practical effects, of course. Lon Chaney was actually outfitted with, you know, the Wolfman costume and the nose and the hair and everything. So I think Jack Pierce used to do all the makeups for Universal back in that time period. And he was a genius. All of his you know, Frankenstein, the Mummy, all that kind of stuff was just, you know, that stuff is just etched in your brain forever. As a kid, you basically just got drawn into that, you know, and you just wanted to be part of that. What I like about Universal is, we'll get to the movie reviews in a few minutes, at least one tonight, is that they didn't rely so much on blood and guts and, you know, really today's special effects and stuff like that. They kind of relied mainly on, you know, atmospherics, really creepy looking sets, cemeteries, great theme music, you know. It just drew you right in. You know, it'd be like the Wolfman is coming for somebody and they come right up to your face, and then, you know, you knew something was going to happen. He was going to rip somebody's throat out, you know, the Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman. Yeah, I got some crap in my face. Damn! Ooh, I think I'm kind of drunk tonight. I hope you don't mind. But, you know, these Universal pictures are my passion. I actually have almost every single Universal movie in my collection. See if you can see over here. See that where my little slimy finger is pointing? That's one of my movie collection cases. It holds about like 600 movies. Mostly horror, mostly, you know, stuff like that. Stuff that you guys would probably like. Hey, don't you think I'm looking pretty cool tonight? Look at me. I got my Spiderman outfit, you know, and I take it back control, the Spidey's webcast and stuff like that. But I think Universal was king back then, and I think they're still pretty good, you know. I did recently watch, you know, like, it came out like 7 years ago, the Wolfman remake movie with Anthony Hopkins and Benicio del Toro, which I thought was actually pretty good movie. Of course, they use today's special effects and technology, you know, and CGI and stuff like that. But I kind of like the old movies. You know, they're black and white, and they just seem to have a more creepy element to them, you know. Maybe as a young kid that just kind of got etched in your brain, and you basically, you know, it stayed with you for your entire life. You know, you had no choice because you can remember all the goddamn. I think I've watched these movies hundreds of times. You can remember every scene in your brain. You know, I mean, I can, you know, quote you every scene in these movies. You know, basically what happens. Not so much on dialogue, but, you know, basically on scenes. They just kind of like stick with you, you know. The acting was great. You had such great actors as Patrick Knowles, Lionel Atwill, Lon Chaney Jr., you know, Ilona Massey, I think you pronounce her name. Which is the movie we're going to be reviewing tonight. From the one we're going to be reviewing tonight is Wolfman versus Frankenstein. Oh, I love that one. Or Frankenstein versus Wolfman. Sorry. If you want to stick a spike through my head for a miscue there, you're more than welcome to, you know. But you got to find me first. You know, I don't give my address out there. except to, you know, psychopaths and stuff like that. People want to kill me, I just give my address out to, you know, because I'm, you know, they just want to see me dead anyway. You know, I have a lot of enemies. Fuck them. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Wolfman versus Frankenstein. I love this movie. I think of all the Frankenstein and Wolfman movies, this is my favorite. Let's get a little photo of that right there. Without any reflection in the mirror there, you know, stuff like that. And yeah. This is actually double featured. This is House of Frankenstein and Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Woo! I love these movies. You know, it was really nice as you can just lay down in bed at night and just pop these movies into your DVD player and just kind of like fall asleep to these movies because you know you've seen every scene 1,000 times. You know all the dialogue. You know how the special effects are going to go down, stuff like that. But it's actually a pretty good movie. I know we should start with the Wolfman, but I want to start with my favorite movie, Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. I love the, you know, Patrick Knowles plays, well, basically, you all know the story. I'm going to be talking to people who really know the series very well, you know, so you really know what I'm talking about. You know all the scenes, you know the dialogue, you know, stuff like that. And I like this movie because it basically picks up where the first one, you know, left off. Of course, these grave robbers, you know, they basically break into Lon Chaney Jr.'s family crypt in the graveyard. And what I really like about this movie is when these two grave robbers are going at the beginning of the movie, you know, it's a Universal set, of course. It's got all the creepy background. It's got all the tombstones and blowing wind and weeds being, you know, blown around and stuff like that. It's very creepy. Plus, the music is outstanding. You know, it draws you right in. Just draws you right in. Okay. You know, I think I had one too many beers before this review. I think I need to put myself... Ah! No, never mind. Never mind. Anyway, so they break into... of course, there's a full moon that night, and the two grave robbers break in. They want to take all of his money and all of his jewelry and stuff like that. Of course, you know, like, pop the lid off his crypt, and you know all of his family members are buried in there. You know, it's a mausoleum basically, which I love that scene. The opening scene is outstanding. It makes me want to just be in that crypt. You know, this laying in my coffin, laying in my crypt, and just waiting for some sucker to open the door. You know, pop my lid off my my crypt, and I could just rip them apart. You know, I think that's just so goddamn cool. You know, it's just anyway. Anyway, I'm kind of babbling on. You know, I'm I'm drunk. But I think I'm doing a pretty good job. Don't you think? You know, I had too many of these goddamn things tonight. You know, Rad's ale or whatever it is. It's mango flavored cider, 8.0%. So I am kind of buzzed, you know, and I just. Oh, anyway, let's get back to the movie. I'm babbling on. I always do this every once in a while. I just babble on. Just ignore it. I'm just the fucking idiot, you know. Idiot of horror movies. A lover of horror movies like you all are, you know. So, anyway, they break into his crypt. They pop his lid off his coffin, whatever you want to call it. His tomb. And they tried to steal his ring and all of his belongings and everything because he was buried with all of his junk, you know. And so, of course, the full moon is appearing through the you know, one of the open vents of the crypt, and it actually reanimates him again. So, you know, because he's not really dead, he's just laying peacefully in there, you know, just waiting for two idiots like these two to, you know, to free him. That's what they do. Of course, he comes to life, you know, he grabs one guy by the arm, you know, and he won't let him go. That fucker's dead. That fucker's dead. You know he's dead. The other guy just scoots out the top of the door because the door is bolted, you know, so, and this guy, of course, gets his throat ripped out, you know, and so, you all know the story, you know. And, of course, Lon Chaney is found the next day in an alley by a constable or something over in England, you know. And so they take him to a hospital to find out who he is. Of course, you know, he tries to convince him that he's Larry Talbot Jr., you know, Larry Talbot, of course, but, you know, they have records proving that he's basically been dead for 4 years, you know. He's been in his tomb for 4 years, you know, so. I really like this. I just love this movie. I just, it's just something, just the way it's filmed and everything. And I think a lot of you would just agree with me that it's just an outstanding movie, like all the rest of the movies. But this is my favorite. Frankenstein beats the Wolfman. So I'm not going to go into a full review tonight, but so basically, he escapes from the hospital, and he goes back to the village, and he finds Frankenstein's frozen carcass, inside of a ice cavern or something. He frees him, of course, and because he wants to find the records of Dr. Frankenstein, so he can lift this curse off him, So, and then he finds out that he can't find the records. Of course, the monster's alive. He's his big buddy, So he finds the daughter of Frankenstein. What's her name? Ilona? Massey? God, she's hot. Woo! Those women back then were so beautiful, man, with all the lipstick and the makeup and the puffy hair. And anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. And this rain is creeping me out. Oh my God. So of course she doesn't really know where his records are, So later in the movie she does show him exactly where Dr. Frankenstein's records are, and of course his doctor back in England that had him in the English hospital. Patrick Knowles plays him. He's Lon Chaney's junior, or Lawrence Talbot's doctor. So he basically tracks Lawrence Talbot because Lawrence Talbot escaped. It goes back to, I don't know what part of the Eastern Europe or whatever part of Europe it is. Transylvania or something. Maybe, I don't know exactly. Does it really matter? Does it really matter? And so he tracks down Lon Chaney Jr. and, convinces them that he needs to go back to England and get medical treatment for his mental health problems because he thinks he's insane, of course. And, of course, he really doesn't know that Lon Chaney Jr. is actually telling the truth. He is fucked up in the head, and he is a Wolfman. He is cursed by the pentagram, the mark of the beast. Oh, whatever. I'm getting a little animated tonight because I love this movie. I love these movies. Anyway, so Lon Chaney talks the daughter of Baron Frankenstein's. Listen to that rain. That's creeping me out. Should I turn it off? Fuck no. It's perfect for Universal horror movies. So she actually tells him where the records are, of course, and then of course she got Malavia, the old gypsy woman. I can't think of her name, Maria Ouspenskaya or something. You know what I'm talking about. She's been in a lot of those Wolfman movies. She's a staple artist or actress from Universal and stuff like that. You recognize her instantly. She's been in all the Wolfman movies and stuff like that. So Patrick Knowles basically examines the. I'm kind of like getting ahead of myself here. So he finds the records, of course, along with Lon Chaney Jr. and Frankenstein, stuff like that, and Frankenstein's daughter. So they kind of. Patrick Knowles decides he's going to use the book to destroy both the Frankenstein and the Wolfman. So, of course, he gets power mad and he wants to give back their full power. And, I don't have to go over this story too much. I'm sure you've all seen this hundreds of times, but it's a great movie. And, of course, he starts to zap him more. Gives Frankenstein full power and the Wolfman full power. And, of course, all hell breaks loose, of course. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. There's a lot of great scenes in this movie, though. Scenes that will absolutely just stick with you for the rest of your life. You can visually see these scenes in your head. A lot of movies really don't do that nowadays, but these type of movies, it's absolutely stick in your head, where you just can, you can just think about like the Frankenstein, House Frankenstein, or the Wolfman, or whatever. You can just kind of see every single frame going through. You can remember every little bit of dialogue. You can remember every little special effect, and stuff like that, which really makes it quite good. That's the that's the sign of a really great movie, you know, where you don't need a lot of guts, you don't need a lot of special CGI type effects to actually get drawn into these movies. That's what I liked about the Universal movies. Black and white made them much more creepy looking, you know. So anyway, let's get back to the movie. I love this movie. Yeah. Hey, let's go take a look at Michael Myers. Michael Myers, look at Michael Myers. He's smirking at me. He's making fun of Universal movies. Can you believe that? He just told me that Universal movies are terrible. Can you believe that? I should go over and smack his fucking ass back to hell. Or maybe rip his balls off or something, you know, and, and use him for, like, a party balloon, his weenie and his ball, whatever, you know. He's messing with the wrong dude here. I'm one tough little hombre, man. So anyway, so he brings both power back. You know, he's in this all, you know, the castle, and Frankenstein's castle, basically. So he's bringing both, you know, he's got the electrodes hooked up to both of their necks and stuff like that. And he's bringing, you know, full power back to Wolfman Frankenstein as we're getting ahead towards the end of the movie. And, of course, Frankenstein and, you know, the Wolfman battle it out at the end, which I really thought was a cool scene. I kind of wish they would have made that a little bit longer and stuff, but, you know, back in I think this came in 1942, if I'm correct, Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, and I really liked the fight scene because I was actually a Wolfman fan over Frankenstein. Though I love Frankenstein, but you know, in this fight, I was always pulling for the Wolfman. Always pulling for the Wolfman. You know, he was it only lasted maybe about 8 minutes or something like that, the fight between these two at the end of this movie. You know, the Wolfman is jumping off things high up in the air, like tables stacked up and stuff like that, onto the Frankenstein, which I thought was cool. Water started to rush down, you know, and destroying the castle and stuff, and they were just battling back and forth. You could tell that, you know, they were battling on the ground inside the castle, and they were basically just, you know, slugging it out and stuff. And I always pulled for the Wolfman. I don't know why. I seem to relate to Lon Chaney Jr. better than to the Frankenstein monster. I love the Frankenstein monster. Don't get me wrong. I have all Frankenstein's movies too. Except that horrible one, what was that one with Robert De Niro a few years, 10 years ago, whatever. Oh, God, that was a horrible movie. I think it had Kenneth Branagh in it and stuff like that. Oh, God, that movie sucked. Oh, God. They should stick to this old type of makeup and stuff for these remakes. I think that would be much better than, you know, recent endeavors, you know, remakes and stuff like that. If they're going to do a remake, at least stay true to the original. That's my opinion, you know, and stuff like that. And but anyway, of course, Patrick Knowles and Miss Massey escape, of course, and Frankenstein and the Wolfman are battling out with the waters rushing down from the dam and stuff like that. And of course, they both get swept away into part 3, which I believe is House of Frankenstein. You know, they're frozen in the ice cavern under, you know, below the castle and stuff. You always seen this movie, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I love this movie. I think this is probably my favorite. This movie and The House of Frankenstein are probably my 2 favorite Universal horror movies of all time. Because they actually tie in together, and I just like the way they come across with like I said before, the atmospherics, the music, the sets, stuff like that, the dialogue, the acting is outstanding. You know, everybody does a good job in all these movies, which I really like. You know, they're actually believable. You know, they were great actors back then. I'm not so sure nowadays that the movies nowadays live up to the quality of the movies back in the 40s and 50s and 30s and stuff like that. I would actually pick those movies from decades ago, 30, 40, 50 years ago, over newer movies, I believe. So, anyway, so the movie basically ends with them both being swashed away, still battling out in the ruins of the Frankenstein castle, you know, and they get swept into the ice cavern, which picks up in part 3, House of Frankenstein. So, what else can I say about? I don't know what else I can really say about these movies, friends. I think that They're classics. Now I'm gonna rate this movie, House of Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. See this. So you should never drink before you do a movie review because you could just look like a fucking idiot, and people already think I'm an idiot. They look at me doing all these movie reviews as like Michael Myers and Leatherhead and Leatherface and and the Joker, and they go, "This guy is fucking nuts." I'm not nuts. I just like to have fun. People judge me all the time. You shouldn't judge me because I'm basically a movie buff, especially the old horror movies, and even the current stuff is pretty good. So anyway, we're gonna rate this movie, at least Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, and it's automatic. It gets a 10. I rate my movies 1 to 10 spiderwebs, and this movie gets 10 spiderwebs automatically. There's no discussion about it. There's no I don't want to hear any grief about it. If you want to comment on the comment box below and tell me what you think about this particular movie, and we'll get to the other movies later on. But right now I wanted to do Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, but I rate them 10, absolutely 10. They're unparalleled in movie history, in my opinion. So anyway, we're gonna give this 10, like I said before. Damn. I think my balls itch. You gotta, whatever. I shouldn't get so obscene, but, I am obscene. I am just a little toad in a Spider-Man suit. And I am the real Spider-Man, by the way. Don't let anybody fool you. Tell Tobey Maguire that, and the newer Spider-Man. See, ooh, whatever. So, anyway, like I said, it gets a 10 out of 10 in my books. Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. So, excuse my miscues tonight because, I'm just kind of like a little drunk. I think I'm doing a pretty good job, though. I think pretty much everybody is, comment in the comment box below on YouTube or Facebook and tell me what your favorite Universal horror movie is. It doesn't have to be, it could be anything. The Mummies, the Frankensteins, the Wolfmans, the Draculas. Stuff like that. Whatever you think is really good. Comment in the comment box below. Comment. Ugh. I need somebody to stitch my damn lips together. Can anybody come over and stitch my lips together? I got the thread and the needle. Just come on over and just sew me up. But anyway, comment below and tell me what you think about my review, and tell me what you really like in the Universal horror movies of the past, and even the remakes that have been coming out recently. So, until then, 10 spiderwebs for Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. I guess I'm just going to end this right now before I make a bigger fool out of myself. Let's have another drink before I go. Why not? I've made a fool of myself already, so why don't you guys just basically, might as well just go all the way, right? Oh, that's good stuff. My God, 8% alcohol. Woo! So anyway, we're going to end this tonight. I'm not sure I want to give a shout out for Ken Hardman. He's one of my best friends on Facebook. Of course, all you people are my best friends on Facebook. But he has Horror, Gore, and Collectibles, one of the best groups on Facebook. It just has movie reviews, collectible horror items, stuff like that. It has just things you really should be interested in if you're into all kinds of stuff like this. So remember that. I'm gonna actually post that Facebook site group on the bottom of my comment section below, and you all should check that out because it's a great group, and I'm part of it, of course. And these are all my friends, and I respect their opinions, and I respect them as individuals, and they're just great people. We're all like one big family. So, hi Ken, hi John, hi everybody. Hope you guys like my review tonight. So we'll talk to you guys later. So we'll see you next time. Bye now. Yeah, Spider-Man.